Welcome to the Best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, a weekly segment dedicated to putting the focus on the amazing things and the amazing people behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romigh to introduce today's program.
And welcome to the Best of Beaver County. We set aside this portion of the program each Thursday morning to talk about things that are important to people in Beaver County, people who are making a difference in Beaver County, and some of the projects that we have going on. And there's none important, I don't think anything that we can talk about that is more important than our local community and our local first responders. And our parent company, St. Barnabas, owns the Tuska Shop and Save and the East Rochester Shop and Save, are getting together to help the first responders in our area. Tuska Shop and Save this weekend is having a big deal. It's a big get-together called a First Responders event where you can join Shop and Save as they grill hot dogs and eat ice cream. Who can think of anything better than that? On a Saturday afternoon, well, you can go to a car cruise here on the Ridge. That would be another thing that you would be able to do. But eat hot dogs and ice cream. That sounds like an event I'd want to be at. Donations are encouraged but not required, and this all benefits our local first responders. And joining us in this portion of the program is Brian Hanne. He is the captain of the Brighton Township Fire Department, and Brittany Safran from Shop and Save. And of course, everybody knows the Safran name in terms of the Shop and Saves throughout the area for so many years, and still heavily involved with it. I think I met your father-in-law a couple of days ago. There was a Safran that Frank introduced me to. You have a blank.
My dad.
May have been your dad.
My dad. Phil.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because that's Safran is your maiden name.
Yeah, Safran's my maiden name.
I think I met him not too long ago.
Yeah.
But the Shop and Saves have been a big part of the community. It seems like forever, as long as we can remember.
We're thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah, and you are another generation that's keeping the ball rolling.
Yep,
keeping it in the family.
We are fourth generation. And then actually J.D. Turco contacted us several years ago about managing the Brighton Township location. And then they took over the East Rochester location, remodeled, and he asked us to manage that as well. So it's been a great relationship. It's actually J.D. that came up with the meet, greet, and eat. Shop, save, and support your local first responders.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun event. We've actually really enjoyed it this entire month, collecting money. I have enjoyed meeting with the first responders just to kind of see like their needs and the inner workings of the people that respond to our emergencies around in our area.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm speaking out of school when I say J.D. Turco. He loves ice cream. So I think this must be right up his alley. Right? But your family has been so integral and a part of the community for so many years. It's just wonderful to see you doing well and keeping the goodwill into the community such as you are. And the Tuska Shop and Save. I've been there a couple of times this week, as a matter of fact, because you got this calendar thing going on, and it's hard to pass up those savings that you've got going on.
Yeah, the daily deals, the calendar of savings. That's another fun event we've been running. So every day you can come in and get crazy cheap price. Sometimes we give items away for free, and you just have to spend $10.
I picked up some delicious strawberries just the other day.
Yeah, good.
They were phenomenal. So get that calendar, or if you don't have it, you can walk into the stores and there's calendars sitting right there on the counter.
Yep, and we actually make sure that we even have the daily deal posted as soon as you walk in, so that way when you come in, you know exactly what you can get for the day.
And this is totally off the record. Sorry, Captain Hanne. But I had a delicious, one of the best I've ever had, pepperoni roll.
Yeah, we're known for our pepperoni rolls.
Yeah, I didn't know that, see?
Homemade.
Because I know from the Ambridge stores, and I worked in Ambridge for a few years, and I know it was always done, but I never knew that.
Yep.
That the pepperoni rolls were a big part of the Safran family.
We do a ton of stuff. We actually have sports organizations that we do meal deals for the kids, so they can pick either a 6-inch hoagie or the pepperoni roll. So a lot of the sports teams, they're leaving straight from school to go to their games and things like that in the evening. So a lot of the parents will contact us and they do meal deals for the team. So they get a cookie, a drink, a bag of chips, and then a sandwich or pepperoni roll. So it's nice to know that we're like feeding the teams and stuff like that. So it's great. A
part of the community.
Yep.
That's what we love so much about it. Captain Haney, good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you from the Brighton Township Fire Department. You're a captain. How long have you been a captain there?
I was hired full-time on May of 2023. We started back in 2018, hired part-time personnel, started with 12. And then from there, we moved forward. And then I was hired our first full-time employee last year. And since then, we've hired 2 additional employees, full-time employees.
Very important because Brighton Township, it seems as though the people that you serve, the residents that you serve, continue to grow in this community.
Yes, so the population grows, and so does, the problems we face. And then with the additional staffing was needed. To support kind of the programs we offer to the township through fire prevention, community outreach programs, and then training of our personnel in the department.
And so many communities, boroughs, municipalities, townships are struggling, have been struggling, and have relied on volunteer service for many, many years, which is a difficult task, especially as you continue to grow. So Brighton Township has stepped up in the last couple of years and decided we need some full-time people around here.
Yes, they've been very proactive, identified a problem with the staffing, and the problem being getting firefighters to the scene of an emergency. Mm-hmm. The community expects a response, and they provided that response through hiring personnel.
There was a time when, again, it was all based on the volunteers and the Women's Auxiliary that used to be able to raise funds with chicken dinners and ice cream socials and things like that to help raise money for the department, but that just doesn't stretch anymore.
Yeah, times are kind of tough with volunteer organizations, and not just for volunteer fire departments, but any volunteer organization. And now it's just declining membership, participation, and then it adds problems, for every organization, not just the fire department.
Some of the challenges also because, you've got 376 running right through here, and all these different trucks and cars on the roads passing through Brighton Township. You've got to maintain that. Also, you have senior citizen homes up here, high-rise apartments, and a lot of different chemicals that are around today that weren't around 25 years ago.
Yeah, we protect a wide variety of what we call critical infrastructure, and the 376 would be one of those. Additionally, the hospital, senior living facilities, county-owned buildings, anything like that. Yeah,
and now, well, you've always covered, I guess, the Michael Baker operation, the facility that was here for many years, but now St. Barnabas and the radio complex that's here on the property. And that's a lot of acreage to cover in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. It is. And then we've worked well since the transition of ownership of the building, addressing our concerns, and then everything was identified, and the transition went really well. It's a real nice building.
Let's talk about the financial struggles that communities and especially first responders, fire departments, police departments, first aid are under, because a lot of times the funding just isn't there anymore coming from Harrisburg or Washington.
Yeah, before there was a lot of support through the federal government, state government with grants and funding, but now with recent years to get that funding has become harder and harder. The grant applications have been more strict, more competitive, so it's harder to get that federal grant and state grant funding. And that's where it comes to your local level funding, where, again, it's a strain on the taxpayer within the community.
Nobody wants to raise taxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody wants to raise taxes. So if you say, we need a new pumper truck, we need a new ladder truck, we need this, we need that, they're going to say, well, sorry, the well is empty.
Yeah, and recently, within the past 5 years, costs for just general equipment have doubled, if not tripled. We've seen, increases 50% for our protective equipment, our protective clothing, the breathing apparatus. we wear has doubled in price within 5 years. Apparatus costs have gone up $200,000 within the past 5 years.
And it's amazing because I was just reading a story about East Palestine this morning and the train derailment that happened there in 2023. And as I remember, there were a lot of departments from outside of Ohio that responded to that. And their equipment they had to use, and a lot of it had to be thrown away because of the chemicals that were there on site. And you needed new equipment. And it was, I think, through the state or the federal government that said, there's money out there. We're going to provide it for you so that you're able to get new equipment because of what you used outside of your area.
Yes, and then so there is support, and then that's kind of considered emergency support from the government.
Yeah.
So there has to be a declaration, and then money set aside at emergency capacity to be used. But the problem we're also facing is availability of that equipment and replacement of if anything gets broken. Shipping has been delayed. Valves, it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to get necessary equipment. Ladders have been on back order for 18 months to 2 years.
Wow. And
to get a new fire truck, they're estimating 3-year build times.
And 3-year build times, and then the cost. What does a new fire truck cost?
We did an evaluation to replace an older aerial ladder truck. The cost estimates came in to replace that were kind of roughly around $1 million, coming out like 1.2, 1.5, $1.7 million. So for, to reduce economic restraints on the township, we purchased a used apparatus, which came in around approximately $900,000.
Oh. Not chump change
Yeah.
by any stretch of the imagination. So something like the event, the first responders event going on with the local Shop and Saves, help. And every little bit helps.
Yeah, and we are very appreciative of the efforts from Shop and Save, St. Barnabas, and then we thank them for, putting this all together and allowing the community to donate. And then we'd like to thank the community in itself and donating this past month and supporting the cause. The funds being used, they're going to go to support programs within the department. So we offer a smoke detector installation program. Then anybody can contact the department within Brighton Township, and we can come in and do kind of a home safety inspection, install any needed fire detectors, smoke detectors, and then CO detectors.
Yeah, carbon monoxide is a big issue. And a lot of times people, and you know this better than anybody, the detector is going off and it's going beep, 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 and it's driving people crazy, and they just pull the battery out.
Yes, so they're there for a reason. They're there to detect the smoke from a fire. And then if you're having any issues with your smoke detectors, you can contact the fire department. If you're feeling this emergency, dial 911, and we'll come and evaluate the situation.
The Brighton Township Fire Department, do you have to go do inspections on new homes or homes that are sold or on the market to make sure that everything is up to code?
We do not. We offer, we do specific site inspections of kind of the at-risk buildings. That's basically just a safety inspection, make sure, they have fire extinguishers, smoke detectors are working, and the building is in a safe manner. The township is recently looking at adopting fire codes, which will allow us to do what you mentioned, is go out and perform inspections to buildings.
So if you're going to keep up with all this stuff, and maybe I haven't been off the beaten path for a long time in Brighton Township, it's beautiful communities, beautiful area, very wonderful, beautiful, high-priced homes a lot of times. So when you say at-risk buildings, I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever seen an at-risk building. These are pretty new facilities, pretty new homes and developments out there.
So, at-risk or critical infrastructure is basically any building that the public interacts with a private building. So hospitals, nursing homes, senior living buildings, this building in particular, where the community can be affected by the decisions of the building owners.
Oh, yeah, like car cruises.
car cruisers.
Never have any problems with car cruisers. They're all beautiful cars out there on the lot. But in terms of dealing with the different things that are going on in the community, you mentioned the hospital a couple of times. Heritage Valley Health System's been there for, 30, 40 years now. It's been out there. I suppose challenges because even though Brighton Township is a big area, you're covering a lot of territory, it's still a small department for something like a major hospital, a major health facility to be in the community that came along 40 years ago.
It is. We have approximately 42 volunteer firefighters and then 18 paid staff. But with any of the larger buildings, we have mutual aid agreements with different departments within the county. Mm-hmm. So Beaver, Rochester, Chippewa will all come as a mutual aid to assist us in any hazard with those larger buildings.
And does that help you as well whenever you have a problem, or you can go assist them, or they come assist you?
Yeah, so we offer our services to those areas, and they offer their services to us as mutual aid.
Outside of the boundaries of Brighton Township, are there other communities that you're called into service for?
There are. We respond into Beaver, Industry, Vanport, Hyoville, Chippewa. We've gone to Rochester, pretty much anywhere where we're called Center Township.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do we see you in the local parades?
We try to make as many parades as possible, but our goal is to protect the township, so that's our main focus. So,
I ask that not facetiously, but that's sometimes the only time that the community will know that the fire department is there. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they just take it for granted that you're going to respond.
Yeah, so community outreach is a big program where we've been focusing on since last year. We've introduced new kind of community outreach programs. We had our first community CPR class last night. We're going to schedule another one for the fall. So you can look on our Facebook page for those announcements. We have been doing drills and exercises and pre-planning all of our commercial structures as well. So we have been doing classes for the community, and then the funding that we receive through donations helps support that cause.
Captain Brian Hanne, and he's talking about the events. First Responders event is coming up Saturday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Tuska Shop and Save. We also have Brittany Safran here. We're going to talk with her more about the Shop and Save and how you can participate and help the Brighton Township Fire Department. Coming up on the Best of Beaver County.
And I'm Bob. We're retired, and we live at St. Barnabas in the Village.
We used to have a house.
Lived in it for 40 years.
Raised our kids.
But it became too much. The upkeep, the stairs.
Moving seemed like such a hassle. We didn't even know where to start. So we didn't.
Until we met Cindy at St. Barnabas.
She talked us through our options.
Yeah. And she helped us with our move and all the arrangements.
There was so much stuff. Who knew we had 3 fondue pots?
But she made it easy.
So easy.
Now we enjoy ourselves.
Golf, the pool, new friends, shuttles to where we want to go.
The pub and the food.
So good.
There wasn't a long-term commitment or any large fees.
And they have a healthcare system on campus with doctors if we need it. The kids really like that.
The kids like to come and eat with us.
There's an easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700.
Have you ever wanted to work in radio? Well, now's your chance. St. Barnabas Broadcasting is a network of 11 radio stations, and we're looking for account executives to help introduce St. Barnabas Broadcasting and digital media to new prospective clients and help grow existing ones. Experience in sales is preferred. Interested candidates can send their resume to fsparks@beavercountyradio.com or by calling 724-444-JOBS.
It's the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. I'm Mike Romigh. Our guest this morning are Brittany Safran from the Shop and Save in Brighton Township and Brian Haney, who is the Brighton Township Fire Chief, talking about a very special event, a first responders event that is happening this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And bring your appetite. They'll be grilling hot dogs and eating ice cream, and it all benefits the first responders. Donations are encouraged but not required. 100% of the proceeds will be donated back to our community heroes. Brittany Safran, this is quite an undertaking. You'll be out there grilling the hot dogs, and the firefighters are going to be out there, and you're hoping the community is going to respond. That early in the morning, people will be going out to gymnastic programs, baseball, softball games, and stuff like that. Stop by and get a hot dog.
Yep. Stop by, get a hot dog, get some ice cream, meet your local first responders, hang out and chat with them a little bit, and just get a chance to see who responds to your calls if you ever need a service.
Yeah, because you probably don't even know some of these people are in your community.
Yep.
And most of them are volunteers, which is important. Brian Haney, you were telling me that you came to Brighton Township from Hookstown.
Yeah,
I
grew up in Hookstown. I was the fire chief with the Hookstown Fire Department for a couple of years, and then life happened, got married, and then moved here.
Happens. And then all of a sudden they are uprooting you and sending you to a different community. What is life like for the spouse, significant other of a firefighter?
Well, you would probably have to talk to my wife about that, but
he's always gone.
Yeah, he's always gone. He's always late.
If he's not fighting a fire, he's washing the truck.
Yeah, So it's some days it's long shifts, long nights. So my wife is very supportive. Very lucky to have her. And, she's supportive of what I do and then why I do it. So it is tough to be married to a firefighter. The family life. Sometimes, I come home from work late, got to leave early, answer phone calls and other problems, weekends and evenings and things like that. So.
And it's not a 9-to-5 job. You're explaining that, but it's also not your average run-of-the-mill position where you're just going to show up, clock in, clock out at the end of the day. Sometimes it can be very dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Our job is very dynamic. It changes. Can be dangerous. We deal with a lot of hazards. I like to call it like the custodians of the township. We if there's a problem somebody can't fix, then we come and help. So we respond as a medical service. So we are a licensed, basic life support squad vehicle. So we support, the ambulances if they need additional staffing to complete a crew, to help transport somebody to a hospital. We respond, to different medical priorities, perform lift assist for the community, and pretty much help anybody when it's needed.
Yeah, and it hasn't happened here, but I did see something on the news just a couple of days ago in another state where a senior high-rise building, there was a fire there, and people had to respond and get those residents out of that building. That's something that you're not going to face every day, and you keep your fingers crossed that everything is up to code as far as you're concerned in your particular municipality.
Yeah, the goal for success, we never want to see, we never want to have that. You can't predict when some emergency is going to happen, but the goal to be successful in those situations is preparedness. And with this, the hiring of additional full-time personnel, it has allowed us to kind of focus our efforts on that. So a big initiative for the end of last year and this year is pre-planning those buildings. So we recently pre-planned Beaver Run Senior Apartments. We worked with the residents there. We had meetings, had safety presentations, pre-planned the building. So basically we look at the hazards of the building, how we're going to face those hazards, and identify the problems. And then we had a drill with a live drill with the residents, smoke in the building, and we had our mutual aid departments, Beaver, Rochester, Chippewa, present, and then working with us to identify a problem and then work to achieve our goals.
And you have the former geriatric center in your jurisdiction as well. And I'm sure, that presents its own challenges along the way.
It does, yes.
Yeah, because you got a lot of residents who are in there, patients who are in there, who are not always ambulatory.
That does pose a different problem as well to our kind of goals. But it's all about preparing for those problems, identifying those risks, and then working out solutions to fix those problems.
Yeah. Brittany, you've been talking about the First Responders event, and we're mid-month, and it's been going on since July the 1st at Brighton Township and the the Pawtuska Shop and Save this weekend. You're doing stuff at the East Rochester Shop and Save as well. The Brighton Township Police Department, the Rochester Fire Department, Medic Rescue.
Yep, Medic Rescue
because
as well.
Captain Haney just mentioned having ambulatory service there, but Medic Rescue is part of this as well.
Yes, they are.
They're helping you out.
We actually had a meeting a few months ago with the first responders, and it was very eye-opening, just knowing things that you take for granted. You see a police officer wearing a bulletproof vest. Well, those vests only have so many years of service before they need replaced. So talking to the first responders on their expenses, and not only the expenses, but to keep them safe, it was very eye-opening. Things aren't just $20 or $100; they're thousands of dollars for them. And it's also important to note that a lot of the volunteers work a full-time job outside of it. So that's just adding more pressure to their family time and things like that at home, because their end goal is to keep the community safe. I think it was also important to note how much training they go through. It's not like a 1 hour session and they're certified. This is hundreds of hours that they put into training, and things like that. So it was, I would say it was very educational talking to them. And I encourage the community to talk to them at our hot dog event this Saturday and next Saturday at the East Rochester Shop and Save, and just ask them what things cost. I mean, it was just, you talk to the police officers about their tasers or the breathing apparatus, all of these different things and things that you might not see on the fire truck that they need, that hopefully they don't ever have to use, but certain things, once it's used, that's the end of the service for that item. So kind of hearing their needs and the challenges that they're facing inspired us to assist with the community and just try to help fundraise. Every dollar counts towards the end goal of this, to help them and to just try to alleviate some of those expenses for them. He had mentioned that they want to do more community outreach, and we felt that it's pretty critical as well, so that especially kids, I think, need to understand that if they are in an emergency situation and there's a firefighter coming into their home to help rescue them, that's a safe person for them to go with. So we want to make sure that families and children and the community understands that these are your local faces. They're here to help you in those emergencies, and they're someone that you can put your life on the line for them, because they're going to do everything in their power to take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Kids, especially young boys, love fire trucks.
Oh,
Yes.
they do. Yeah, I have a 4-year-old at home, and he loves fire trucks.
Yeah, they love to go up on the fire truck. They love it when the sirens go off and all that stuff. What kind of equipment are you going to bring Saturday?
So we will have, we'll bring our truck, and then depending on how many people can, help and participate and be in and out, we'll have 1 or 2 trucks. We'll have some fire prevention material for the kids. We'll have little bags made up, coloring books, crayons,
helmets. You get a little.
Yeah,
helmet,
we got those.
plastic
Yeah,
helmet?
they have a choice of black or red,
Okay.
plastic firefighter helmets, and then we also will have smoke detectors.
Okay. So and smoke detectors are free.
They're free for the residents of Brighton Township.
Yeah, and so Brittany, the funds that are raised here and the funds throughout the week, because as I mentioned, I've been through the checkout lines and there are signs there, and the cashiers always say, "Would you like to donate to the local responders?"
Yep.
And this is all on a voluntary basis.
All on a voluntary basis. We have had a great relationship with the fire, police, and medic rescue. We have, our family has a police officer in it as well, so it kind of hits home for us, just the things that they go through every day. And I think it's important to note that they don't turn off their phones for anything. I mean, it could be Christmas morning opening presents, and if they get a call, they're responding to it, because at the end of the day, they are putting their lives on the line. And I just think it's so important for us to support them in as many ways as we can. Not just myself, but JD Turco and my brother. This has been an ongoing discussion that we've had, is what can we do to help? And again, it's you don't realize, I guess, how much the fire department and the police department do. If there's roadblocks, you guys are setting that up. They're setting up for events and things like that too. So they are the guys behind the scenes, guys and girls behind the scenes.
And it's a wonderful thing, and you'll be able to talk with people if they want to volunteer, how they get involved with that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Very good. And it's wonderful that we have both of you in the community. The Shop and Save, Tuska Plaza, the Brighton Township Fire Department, doing their best to keep people safe and alive in our community. It's this Saturday, July 19th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Tuska Shop and Save. All you have to do is stop by, get a hot dog, some ice cream, and help out the Brighton Township Fire Department.
Yep.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brian,
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank
with
you.
us. Appreciate it. And this is the Best of Beaver County.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver County. St. Barnabas is pleased to have provided content and sponsorship for the program. Tune in this Sunday at 11:30 for an encore presentation of today's program on Beaver County Radio. And next Thursday at 11 for another edition of the Best of Beaver County on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.